Okay, let's just ground ourselves in a feeling I think almost all of us can relate to. Imagine this. You've just stepped off a plane into a massive foreign city. You hear the rush of the crowd, the announcements echoing over the loudspeakers, and suddenly, every single bit of language skill you thought you had just evaporates. It's a visceral, heart-pounding panic. You're completely overwhelmed and your vocabulary feels entirely useless in the real world. Well, that's exactly the scenario we're unpacking in today's explainer, drawn directly from the journey of a language learner named Emily. Emily, the traveler whose journey we're following, put this feeling of absolute despair perfectly. She said she felt literally like a ghost. No one saw her and no one heard her. Her phone is completely dead. She has zero battery, which means no Google Maps to save her. Locals are just rushing past, totally annoyed that she's in the way. I mean, she spent years, literally years, studying English for this exact trip. And yet, when she tries to ask for the train station or a taxi, her words just aren't working. The locals either can't hear her over the noise or they brush her off because they're in a hurry. She feels entirely invisible, almost like she doesn't even exist in this space. So why does everyone seem to speak at warp speed, right? That's the core tactical problem here, and it's fascinating. It's what turns a simple classroom exercise into an overwhelming real-world trial. See, in a textbook, a language is static. It just waits for you. But in a busy London airport, locals don't know you're a learner. So they fire off rapid directions before your brain has even translated the very first word. Speed is absolutely the enemy of a beginner's comprehension. I mean, just imagine the sheer sensory overload creating this abyss for a lost traveler. Emily isn't just dealing with a simple language barrier. She is fighting a multi-front war here. A completely dead phone, 20 confusing overlapping signs on one single wall, fast-talking locals basically telling her to just keep moving. Her legs are tired, her heart is incredibly heavy, and the psychological toll is just massive. She genuinely feels like an absolute failure, to the point where she actually wonders if there is a flight back home today. The stakes are intensely high. Well, just as she is ready to throw in the towel and give up, she meets a kind local named John, who kind of steps in as a mentor figure. John spots her problem right away, and it is all about mindset. He shifts Emily entirely away from this panicked rushing. She'd been sprinting to fluency, trying to match the crazy speed of the city, trying to understand everything instantly, which honestly just left her feeling fast and totally lost. John introduces what he calls the marathon mindset instead. He gives her permission to be a slow learner. He tells her, look, you have to take this step by step. And here is the absolute crucial takeaway. It is better to be slow and correct than fast and lost. Learning a language in the field isn't about matching the frenetic speed of native speakers. It's about caring for your own personal progress. John tells her to just forget how fast everyone else is hurrying. Think about it. If you try to speak super quickly and stumble, or if you just nod along to fast directions you definitely didn't understand, you remain lost. Slow down. Be correct. Give yourself that grace. All right, let's move into the magic weapon. 2 sentences. Mindset is great and all, but, you need actual practical tools when someone is talking a mile a minute right to your face. So, John gives Emily what he calls his magic sentences. Step 1, you just say, I'm sorry, I don't understand. Now, Emily was initially ashamed to say this. She thought it made her look bad. But John points out that it actually proves you are actively listening, instead of just nodding with a blank stare. Step 2, which is a complete game changer. Can you speak slowly, please? These 2 sentences act like a shield. They politely remind the local that you aren't a burden. You're a guest in their city who is just asking for a tiny adjustment in speed. Boom. It instantly puts you back in control of the conversation's pace. This brings us to a really brilliant teaching technique John uses. He doesn't just tell her what to say, he actually makes her practice these exact sentences using completely different emotions. He has her say it shyly with a really nervous voice, then happily with a giant smile, then loud, and finally polite. By practicing these magic sentences with shifting emotional states, the brain is effectively tricked. It's building multiple neural pathways so that when Emily is out there under real-world pressure, her brain absolutely will not freeze. The words are already locked into her muscle memory. It's a seriously fascinating way to learn.
Next up, navigating the city.
Okay, so the panic is managed, the shield is up. Now it's time to actually figure out where to go. Because once you get people to speak slowly, you still need to know what they are actually saying to you. John starts with the absolute basics, and he grounds them in powerful visual imagery. For instance, he defines go straight not just as moving forward, but he tells Emily to visualize it as a bird flying in a perfect straight line. Having that strong visual anchor for a phrase prevents your mind from second-guessing itself when you are exhausted and overwhelmed.
Then he tackles the infamous left and right. In the heat of the moment, distinguishing left from right in a foreign language is notoriously tricky. Your mind can just easily go blank. So John provides this incredibly clever, simple mnemonic from our source material: left for London, right for road. It's catchy, it uses alliteration, and it's exactly the kind of fast cognitive shortcut a stressed-out traveler needs to instantly orient themselves.
To wrap up this rapid-fire vocabulary training, he contrasts two spatial concepts, near and far. And again, he ties the vocabulary directly to her physical sensations right in that moment. Near is very close, literally like her suitcase resting right near her feet. Far is a long distance that's going to require a taxi or completely tire out her already aching legs. By connecting the words to her physical reality, the vocabulary just sticks instantly.
Which leads us right into the final boss, the real-world test. This right here is the absolute climax of Emily's journey. She steps away from John's safe little bubble to face a fast-talking local entirely on her own. It's the ultimate real-world test. Emily approaches a stranger and asks for the bus to the city center. And, true to form, the local rapidly fires off directions, telling her to go out the main door and turn right at the big yellow dot bus gate. Predictably, Emily's mind goes completely blank. You can feel the panic rising, right? But instead of running away, she pulls out her magic sentences. "I'm sorry, I don't understand. Can you speak slowly, please?" And guess what? The local apologizes. He slows down, he happily repeats the directions clearly, and he guides her perfectly. She literally forced the world to slow down to her pace. This brings her emotional arc beautifully, wonderfully full circle. She realizes, hey, I'm not a ghost anymore. People saw me and they actually helped me. The transformation is just incredible. She went from total despair and feeling completely invisible to realizing she actually has a powerful voice. The city isn't hostile, people are just busy. When she gave them a fair chance to help her by clearly communicating her needs, they did exactly that. You know what's truly remarkable about this whole thing? The number 10. 10. That's it. Emily realizes that a traveler doesn't need 1,000 words to survive. She didn't suddenly master advanced grammar overnight. Just 10 simple words, basic directions, asking for a slower pace, admitting she didn't understand, were more than enough to open the doors of a massive, super intimidating new city. Simple English, confidently deployed, is incredibly powerful. Emily's story really elevates into the core thesis of our explainer today. Communication is about connection, not perfection. It's about talking to people, not showing off how perfect your grammar is. Mistakes aren't failures, guys. They're literally your teachers. If you fail, you learn. If you learn, you become a better speaker.
It's a bridge to the rest of the world, and you really don't need it to be perfectly paved to cross it.
So that leaves us with one final thought. You've got the magic sentences now. You know it's a marathon, not a sprint. You know you don't need a massive dictionary-sized vocabulary to survive and thrive. The only question left is, are you ready to step out of your comfort zone, say hello first, and actually be the brave traveler on your next journey? Thank you so much for exploring this with me today. I really hope this empowers you the next time you step off a plane into the unknown.